Hi guys, welcome back to another video. This time I'm drawing some mushrooms. This is actually day 1 of Artober. This year I'm not drawing every single day. I've done that in previous years and it was a lot of pressure and really not good for my hand. So I did manage it, I'm pretty sure, a couple years ago. I got every single day done, but I got issues with my hand, so I don't think that's a good idea to do again. So this time I'm planning to do, I think, at least 1 illustration per week, so that'll be maybe 4 total, but I'm also considering changing it to 13. We'll see what happens. Or like a good 8, maybe 2 per week would be nice. I actually haven't decided yet, and I know it's already October 4th. I don't look at my watch, I forgot the day. But yeah, well, whatever happens, we'll see. But yeah, so for day 1 of Artober, the prompt is mushroom. Makes sense. Mushrooms are well known for being a fall thing. So basically all my prompts, I'm not using another person's list or anything. I usually make my own prompts, and they tend to be things that just remind me of October. So definitely mushrooms. I actually drew the sketch for this at the same time as the other 2 mushrooms that I did in my last video, and you can actually see them through the back of the page here. But I wanted these ones to be day 1 of Artober. No particular reason, I just really like them. I chose this reference image because I like how you have the chunks taken out of the top, and I like the contrast between the relatively dark brown and the white of the inside of the mushroom. I think this one was definitely like a trust the process kind of drawing. Maybe I say that a lot, but I was not liking it for the longest time. I just couldn't build enough contrast, though I do feel like I say that often with alcohol markers as I build up from light to dark, because that's how I usually do it. Maybe I would like my drawings as I work on them a bit more if I switched from light to dark to light to dark, you know, because my brain just hates it when it just looks too flat. But we got there eventually. I did try to let layers dry a bit in between, because in I think the last one I noticed it. If you, at least for this paper, if you don't wait at least a little bit between like the deep shadows especially, it kind of becomes blotchy, which in a way I like texture. So that's one of the reasons I do like alcohol markers, because I can make some interesting texture. I don't like to make it super, super smooth, but when it like lifts up the color underneath, I'm not a fan of that. It just doesn't look intentional. So I tried waiting a little bit this time, and it seemed to help. It didn't take that long to dry, literally like waiting an extra 20 seconds before I go over with another color. That made a big difference. And it was still soft enough that it, you know, I didn't get a super hard edge, even if I went right over with a darker marker. So basically with the stems of the mushrooms, that's where I was most concerned. The other thing was like the mushroom on the left side, I think it looks a lot darker, but they look like the same type of mushroom, right? I don't really know what type of mushroom this is. If you know, write it in the comments below, because I think they're cool. But they're the same type of mushroom, but the left side was a little darker. So while I was gonna use like mostly the same color markers, I had to make the other side darker, the left side darker. So I did end up, I just kept going back and picking new markers out of my marker bag, because I did is cut off here, but I did do swatches and label them for what I thought I needed, and then put everything on my desk. but I still had lots of different stuff to grab. Just kept grabbing more markers. But it was all right in the end. The one thing I wasn't the biggest fan of, which we'll get to in the end, was for the white parts, because this is cream paper. So I did need to bring actual white into the drawing. So I chose to use a Posca marker because I realized in my last video that my Artix markers are just really sheer and they're just not opaque enough. And so I went to use the Posca marker. I don't think it was dried out. Initially I thought it was, and then I like pumped the nib a little bit more and it was okay. But yeah, it made me... I'm not a big fan of Poscas, just to be honest. I wanted a thinner tip firstly. And this isn't the smallest size, but it's like the second to smallest size. So it was a bit annoying that I feel like I didn't have a lot of control. Secondly, I couldn't really draw. Like I could dot, but I couldn't really draw because it like lifts up the paper and it doesn't look opaque. Like it pushes some of the paint with the nib. If you try to scribble it on, which is something that I didn't like even when the markers were brand new, so I don't think it was because they're like a couple of years old. So today actually I had to go to immigration to renew my visa, and so my friend and I usually treat ourselves. We go together and then we go shopping after. So I went to Sekaido, which is an art supply store here in Japan. And I got a new paint marker, so I'm excited to try it in another installment for Artober. So yeah, this is one of the last colors, the one I'm using now, one of the last colors I picked out of the bag. And so I needed a warm brown. That was what I needed. It was too cool and it needed to be warmed up. And then I was very satisfied. I realized that the chunks that were taken out were not really realistic enough, like not believable. They looked like voids. So I went in with the grays, and then as you can see I went on top with the Posca, which is alright. It's cool. And I brought up some of the lighter bits of the stems because there was some like pretty white parts towards the bottom of the stems. So in the end I think it turned out pretty good. I went pretty minimal with the colored pencils because I'm a bit traumatized from my second to last video here, where I was too heavy-handed and I hated what I made. So just a little bit with like a medium brown and then the darkest brown, almost black but not quite black, just because it again brought in more depth. And then with the black I went and signed it because why not? It's Artober. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you did, give it a like. Here's a nice close-up. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I'll see you next time. Bye.